Hi, everybody. My name is Bethany Jett, and I'm one of the co-owners of Serious Writer. I'm super excited to talk today about tips for marketing your fiction book. And so we're going to cover a few different genres, but for the most part, I think the rules stay the same, and you have to just maneuver how you work within marketing tips for your specific book project or time period that you're writing in or your characters. There's a lot that you can do with fiction, and I'm super excited to get started. I recently earned my Master of Fine Arts degree in communications, where I focus on marketing and PR. And the one of the many key takeaways is that with marketing, it's all about knowing your audience or your consumer or the end buyer, knowing what they actually want, and then putting yourself in the position to be able to deliver that to them. With readers of fiction, they are voracious. They know what they like. They love their genre. They are loyal to their authors, and they're always looking for the next author who is going to be able to come into their group of favorites. Once they've read through the authors that they love, who's next? And so you can position yourself to be the expert in the genre, but also somebody who is constantly giving them book reviews and feedback and advice or tips for their next read. So today we're going to talk about 3 different ways as a novelist that you can market to your audience. And I'm going to use Instagram and Goodreads for this first example. Marketing tip number 1 is that you need to understand your genre's audience. And Instagram and Goodreads are going to be great places for that. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to, in real time, go through Instagram and Goodreads to find a few places where you can really jump in with readers. A lot of times as writers and authors, we talk to other writers and authors in our genre. We really need to get in front of those readers, though. Facebook groups are a good place to do this, possibly LinkedIn groups, but your 2 best places, in my opinion, social media wise, would be Instagram and then pulling in the Goodreads community. So let's check that out. All right, on the screen, I have come into Instagram, and in the search bar on the computer, you can type anything in that you want. This is a great place to do research for hashtags. So I've already typed in the hashtag Bookstagram, which is one of the most popular ones for readers to use. But you can see through the dropdown that even though I have Bookstagram here, it's also auto-populated other hashtags that are being used with the same letters in this order, right? So you have Bookstagrammer, I don't even know how to say this one, Bookstagram features. So as you're looking for hashtags to use that readers are using, this is a great place to come and see what other hashtags that you can use for Bookstagram. So just clicking on Bookstagram, which has over 42 million posts, what you're going to see at the top here are the top posts, which means that right now, these are the pictures, the posts that have the most engagement, okay? And this is always going to change. And then these right now currently are the most recent pictures that have been uploaded using the hashtag Bookstagram. So you never really know what you're going to get when you're looking through here. But what I like to do is go through and connect with people who are reading in the same genre. So as you as an author, you're going to be looking for people like that as well. So this is a pretty picture. So I went ahead and clicked on her, and this is Katie Elizabeth Reads. Her feed on Instagram is pretty much, as far as I had scrolled through, very beige. Beige and white, neutrals, linens, but it looks very cohesive. And one of the hashtags that she uses is My Beige Life. But as she's also a writer, she says in her bio, she's a writer. She loves books. We got reader right here, and she lives the vegan life. So as we go through her posts, you can see that they're very reader driven. So I clicked on this one earlier just to check it out. Scrolling back up through, this is her little micro blog for the day. So she's got Harry Potter and vegan pancakes this morning for me. She's been growing rapidly as I read through her last post. 10 days, she went from 8,000 to 9,000 followers. She's been doing a question of the day and some of her other posts as well. Here's the beautiful part. When you're on your laptop, it's very easy to take a list of hashtags like this, copy them, and then paste them into a Word document or a Notes app There are apps out there that will let you put them in there so they will auto-populate for you on Instagram, but I like to use my notes app so that I can use sections of hashtags at a time. She's got coffee hashtags here, a writer hashtag, she's got vegan hashtag because she's got the pancakes, so she's pulling in an entirely new audience of people over into her world. If someone is following the hashtag vegan, but they also love to read, and they find her on that explore page, chances are that they might follow her. So she's using a variety of hashtags, and then a lot of book ones, a lot of ones that readers are going to be using. And another one of her posts, she has the hashtag my beige life, which makes sense because her posts are very neutral in color and tone. Anyway, she seems like somebody I would want to follow, so I'm going to follow her. Another example, though, of somebody who is really invested in this genre is Bridget. And I don't read a lot of fantasy, but I love her feed. She is Dark Fairy Tales _. Her feed is simply beautiful. Now, if you look, she's got over 100,000 followers because she's very consistent in what she does. I'll just scroll through. It's staging. Basically, her feed is staging books. And as you'll see again, we've got a little micro blog here, and she's asking a question, same as the other Instagram Katie did. What are your thoughts on collector editions? She's featuring this collection right here. Again, you'll see some of the same hashtags are being used in here as well. And now she's got the comments. She's got people who are following. She's got an engaged audience here. I'm just going to scroll through a little bit. I want to go over here because here she's showing her face. And she's showing her, I think this is books from all of the same author. So just a little bit of information. Again, another question, another stack of hashtags. Here's one that I hadn't seen before, libraries of Instagram. So in the same way, can't you even go to the library if you don't have all the books? Couldn't you do the same exact photo, get a collection of books in the same genre, the genre that you're writing, pile them up, and then ask people the same question? It's okay to model our own social media after people who are doing it well. And I think this is just really great. And here's more hashtags. In fact, I am going to be following her, and I am going to be reading through some of these books based on her recommendation. So this is a way that you get in front of readers and you build a lot of trust. Her feed is just beautiful. This one, it is just books. Now this takes time. It has to be staged. But here she's talking about a children's book from Random House. Can you imagine having an account where readers are following you because they trust you in your genre? And look at all this. She's giving a giveaway, more hashtags. She's even stepping outside of the genre that she talks about most to tell a little bit of personal information. So you feel like you're getting to know her as she's sharing all of these things. But the idea here is, if you're looking at these photos and how to really break them down, let's use this one because it looks complicated. Let's talk about what's really in this photo here. You've got, it looks like a bed. It's not even made like straight, just got sheets. So you've got a computer that she's layered with like journals. She's got looks like a tray where she's got pages from books with coffee, looks like crafting things. And this is just flowers and candles, the majority of the time. And then she put in a little bit of texture with some cardigans. It looks very fall. It looks very warm and cozy, but it looks so beautiful for her here. And now she's going into a feature on this book right here. So this book is actually the point of the post, Redemption Prep. And she's giving a little bit of background on it, talking about who gave it to her. She's doing a giveaway. And let's just click out of that for a second. 57 comments, 1,800 likes. It's just lovely. Again, you've got those same flowers in this photo, coffee, texture with this blanket or cardigan. Here's her at the bookstore. These are just ways that you can recreate some of these in your own style. It doesn't have to look like hers. And the last one on here I wanted to share is one of my favorite Instagrammers. Her name is Abby. And again, her feed is all about thriller. So she works for a publishing house, and her genre is basically crime novels. And so as I scroll through here again, I want you to notice the simplicity of this. But look again, she's got 77,000 followers, and all she's talking about is crime novels. This is someone that you would want to have feature your book if you're writing in this genre. And every genre is going to have people who are like this. They've really built their following based on the genre. you need to join in the conversation. You need to be following them. You need to have your accounts begin to explode with things in the genre so that your readers who are searching these hashtags are looking for their next book in the genre that they find you. Let's jump into Goodreads for a second. I'm going to share my screen. All right, some cool things about Goodreads is that they have groups. So just like on Facebook or LinkedIn, where you can find other people who are interested in the same topic, especially when you're doing research for your novel, Goodreads is a great place to find other readers. And so there's tons of groups over here. Addicted to YA, which would be awesome if you're writing any kind of young adult. But what's also pretty cool is that they're broken down by genre. So just what's showing up in the automatic area, you've got fiction, and of course there's lots of subgenres of fiction, fantasy. I went ahead and typed in thriller here just to see what happens when we try to look for a genre that's not listed in the tag. Now what happens is it populates an entire list of other groups, but then it gives you extra tags that weren't showing up on that first page. Now, what I love about this is full free movie downloads. It's talking about movies in the thriller category. If you're looking for ways to get in touch with readers or in a way to pay attention to what the audience of the genre is listening to or watching, this is a great place to do some research and say, okay, what are some of the top thriller movies? Maybe you don't know about them. That would give you a reason to blog, a reason to post. Hey, I'm going to watch Gone Girl. Did anyone read it? Did you like it? And then join the conversation. If you're writing that kind of psychological thriller, you're going to want to get feedback from the readers. And if you have a book similar to, that's a way to slowly integrate the fact that you've got a book similar, because now you're talking to people who appreciate the genre and love it. And so basically these are ways to get in front of those readers who then become your book buyers. And then one last thing to look at on Goodreads is the Reader's Choice Awards. So just by going to browse, right here is the annual list of books that readers vote on. So this is at the 11th year. I recommend going back a few years. Look at the ones that won this year in your genre, but then go back to 2018, 17, 16, 15, and see which books the readers picked. Now, sometimes the first place winner wins by tens of thousands of votes. Sometimes it's really close. So that's something that you want to pay attention to as well. Here are the different genre categories that the readers can vote in, and you can choose to put them into your bookshelf on Goodreads, but you also will want to know what are the readers actually reading and loving. So young adult fantasy. If we click on this, so the winner is The Wicked King. So if you love young adult and you're wanting to write for that age group, you need to be reading what they're reading. So the winner was 48,000 votes. The second place was 39,000, 35,000, 25,000. And so you can go in here and look at the different books that the readers voted on. I love that it gives a voter count. And then you can go to the library even and request these books. Oh, here's Cassie Clare, who was on the Dark Fairies Instagram, the Bridget's Instagram. She had a whole collection of these books. Well, interesting, it placed third this year. This author did. And so this is just a way to go back into the genre and really get in front of those readers, because you know what they are reading, and it also is going to make you a better writer. But now you can start talking about these things on your social media or writing blog posts. Hey, did you see the top 5 winners in the YA fantasy category? List them on your blog and link to them. Link to this thing here. That way readers, when they're searching for these kinds of things, you're popping up in the Google SEO. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was a platform that I saw through a Twitter ad. I've not used this, but reviews are so important, and it gives a lot of credibility to you as an author, and readers look for high reviews for books. So I'm not endorsing this program, but I did want to share it because I just noticed it. Basically, you can put your books in here. You can also even give them excerpts or free books to read, but this company gets you reviews, and I might do the free trial. But you can add books, get reviews. I'm not sure what the snaps are. I think it's like a paid version of things, but they do have a 10-day trial. So this is Puppy.co. And if you have used it or know anything about it, please throw that into the comments. I would like to know as a nonfiction author how this works. And I'm sure for fiction, it works really well, I'm guessing. And then the other two things. So the first thing with marketing nonfiction was understanding your genre's audience and what the readers are looking for. And so those are some ways to really dive in and get in front of the audience on social, and then understanding what the readers are reading. The second thing is understand the audience and then be where the readers are. So Instagram readers are there, Goodreads, they're there. Obviously readers are on all the social platforms, but they tend to congregate in certain areas. And I think Instagram and Goodreads are going to be really great places for you. And the third thing is how to market your book's themes and topics. So I'm going to use, I am allergic to book covers to paper, but I did want to go ahead and share two books. My mom is a novelist, so I'm going to use hers as an example because I know these books pretty well. So this is a contemporary romance. And there is an a true award-winning chili recipe in here. And the recipe is in the book. This chili recipe is mentioned in the book a couple of times. Just in passing, it is not the main point of the story at all, but it is a quote-unquote nonfiction element, theme, or topic in the book. And so there are a couple of times every year where people do chili cook-offs, and the Super Bowl is one of them. So as thinking about marketing, where is my audience, or how can I think about nonfiction themes and elements in the book? Because the recipe that is used in this book actually comes from a guy that my mom knows who is an award-winning chili maker. He's given her permission to share the recipe. And so especially for Super Bowl or any of these chili cook-offs, on her website or on Pinterest, I always encourage her to, let's talk about the chili, show yourself making the chili, because people are talking about chili. And as she's doing that, she can reference the fact that her character in Where She Belongs is also making this recipe and tying two unlike things together, chili and a contemporary romance. So people who are doing chili cook-offs like me, I like to make chili. If I come across her posts, I'm looking for a new recipe or whatever, and then I see that a character in her book made this recipe and I like contemporary romance, I might just go check out her book. And so that is a way, it's a soft marketing. This is not a way that you're going to sell hundreds of copies of books in 5 minutes with this. But I think these are ways that we don't think about that give us a way to merge our lives, something that people are talking about along with something that's going on in our book. Another way to, maybe a not so common way to market your books, are to think about the time period. If you're writing any kind of historical, this is another example where Treasure Hides is a World War II novel. If you're writing any kind of period piece, there are organizations and groups who are banded together because they love to study the history, the time period, the era. If you've got your book set in a specific place, why not go to the Chamber of Commerce, or look for mom and pop restaurants or places within that community who love the town or city and might end up having your book on their shelves for people who are coming in to buy their other products, coffee shops or boutiques. Anytime that you can link a place or a time period or an era, and then find the companies, businesses, or organizations that are also passionate about that, you might have a way to cross-promote, because your book is talking about those things. They're talking about the period, they're talking about the history. And then those groups and organizations, they want people to love that history too. And so they might become an endorser, they might become an influencer for you. They might end up giving you ways to find other people who might sell your book. They might put your book on the website. There's just so many avenues to explore when you start really digging into those nonfiction elements. And the thing is, when you write a novel, there's so much research that goes into that. And that research is quote unquote nonfiction. And think about the research that you've done. Share that with your audience. Put fun facts, things that you might not know. Anything that you're excited about as you're researching can become topics for blog posts or for articles. Put them on Medium, put them on your website. Look for trade journals on those topics. Right behind me, I have the Writer's Market Guide. Look in there and see if anything that you're researching could be relatable to any kind of publication. You might get paid for an article, but it's also pushing you up as an expert in that topic. And before I close, I want to say amarketingexpert.com is a really great resource. And as I was going through one of their articles for novelists was about this exact thing, about making yourself the expert in these topics for novels. and they had an example for a guy who wrote thriller crime fiction. And so what they had him do was talk about some unsolved mysteries and unsolved crimes. As he did that, as he was sharing those things, he became known for that. People who loved the unsolved mysteries, or think about people who watch Dateline or 2020, that's a large audience group. And because he was niching himself in this one area, which you can do in multiple areas, then it helped grow his fan base that way because people recognized him for that. And then he would also do that when he was going to book signings. They'd be talking about those kinds of things. So that's kind of the model to adapt for marketing fiction. And this is a short class, but I hope just some of this gave you some ideas on how to really dig into where your audience is, to find where the readers are, use the hashtags that they're using, how to get in front of them, and then how to explore some of the nonfiction elements and themes that are in your book, and find people who are also in love with those topics so that they can also help you promote. Best of luck on your marketing efforts, and thank you so much for being part of this simulcast.